Okay, another question from Madison. What are some of your favorite movies? I feel like I've answered... I don't know if I've answered this specific question. I feel like in a previous video I have mentioned some of my favorite movies. The truth of the matter is I don't have a favorite movie. I probably said something like maybe The Gay Divorcee, the Fred and Ginger film, The Thin Man. I probably said like anything Buster Keaton's ever done. And I might have said Meet Me in St. Louis. That's probably what I said before. Instead of just repeating that, I've actually come up with a list of 5 movies that I've seen recently that I really liked, which I thought might be a little more interesting rather than just listing off some of the more standard movies. So these are ones that you may not have heard of. They are not as well known as some of the big, like, you know, Thin Man. Most people have heard of The Thin Man, but some of these other ones are a little lesser known. So I thought it might be interesting to give you a little five movie list. So the first thing on my list, these are not in any particular order, but the first thing is The Ghost Train, which is a 1941, I guess you call it like a mystery. It's British, obviously during the First World War. It's in the public domain, so you can watch it on archive.org, or it's probably on YouTube somewhere as well. I really liked it. I thought it was fairly well done. Not a big budget picture or anything, but it was cute.
We are staying here whether you like it or not. Understand?
I can't leave the station with you people here.
Then you'll have to stay here with us.
Oh, no, that I won't.
Why? What's the matter with it? Apart from everything.
Anyone would think from the way you're going on the place was haunted.
It is haunted.
Oh my God.
Second on my list is Kentucky Colonels from 1934. This is a Wheeler and Woolsey comedy. If you've never heard of Wheeler and Woolsey before, they were a comedy duo from the 1930s. I think more the early 1930s. One of them passed away, like kind of at the height of their career, sadly. So they didn't make that many films, but I've seen a few of them and I really, really like their films. They're really funny. This one had Spanky in it from our gang. Little Spanky, little baby Spanky. It was adorable. I quite enjoyed it. I think I saw that one on TV, but you might be able to find it on the internet somewhere.
We're going to a hospital. You see, the kid is sick.
Yeah, he's in agony. A terrific case of the croup.
I'm not sick.
Oh, yes, you are, sweetness.
I feel fine.
You see, he's delirious.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's wrong with him?
He has gall trouble. This kid has more gall than any kid I ever saw.
Third on my list is technically not a movie. It's Michael Shayne, which was an early 1960s PI show.
Michael Shayne. Starring Richard Denning.
It can be found on archive.org. If I remember, I'll link it below. And I've been watching a lot of them. They're about an hour. They're not the typical, like, half-hour shows, which a lot of the old PI shows are only about half an hour. I quite like it though. I was looking for something. I was watching Follow That Man, which I really, really like, but I think I've seen all of those that I can find anyway. So I had to find something else, and I moved on to Michael Shayne, and I've been really enjoying them. They're surprisingly well done. Being about an hour, they're not technically a movie, but you could watch them sort of like you would an old movie. Some old movies are only an hour. So I decided to include that on the list. Next one on my list is Keep Your Seats Please, 1936. This is a George Formby comedy. Very funny. I love George Formby. Sometimes he's not the most politically correct, but this one's not too bad.
There's a famous talkie queen. She looks a flapper on the screen. She's more like 80 than 18. When I'm cleaning windows, she pulls her hair all down behind, then pulls down her never mind, and after that pulls down the blind. When I'm cleaning windows.
And very, very funny. It's also got Alistair Sim, younger Alistair Sim. If you've seen the best version of A Christmas Carol, he was Scrooge in that, and very funny in this movie. He did a really, really good job. And the last thing on my list is also not a movie. It is Candy Matson, which is a radio show. I put it on this list because nobody asked me about radio shows, and I feel the need to mention them. I listen to a lot of radio dramas. Usually I listen to the trashy mystery shows, the PI shows. I'm a connoisseur though. I like the good ones. Candy Matson is a female PI. She is smart and sassy and really, for the time, surprising. I the one problem with the PI shows from the 40s and the 50s is they do tend to be a little women as accessories. The women are always in trouble and needing help from the big, strong male character, whereas Candy Matson is in control. She does have a police lieutenant, sort of boyfriend kind of character who comes along and helps her, but it is her that solves the mysteries most of the time. It is her that gets to the bottom of it. She is smart and tough in her own right. She doesn't need to rely on the other characters. She's really wonderful. Okay, It's a Charming Life, which I'm assuming it's Lindsay leaving the comment. It could be Jonas, I don't know. Who knows? But she asked, top 5 silent movies. I had a hard time with this one. I've never really thought about it before. I picked movies out of my DVD collection. There's actually 6 here. I picked Buster Keaton, anything he's ever done. I'm not going to name a specific movie because they are all fabulous. A Lady of Chance. I haven't seen this one in quite a while, but I really liked it. It's rare that I'll buy a movie at full price, and I bought this one at full price, so it must have been good. It's sort of a, I guess you'd call it a comedy, romantic comedy kind of thing. The one modern movie that made it to my favorites list would be The Artist. I saw this when it first came out on theaters before it was in wide release. I traveled an hour on the train and then walked for another hour to get to the theater to see it. And then I saw it again when it was more widely released, and I love this film. There's a reason it won Best Picture. It very much evokes the feeling of the era, and it's a great movie. The original, I don't know if it's the original, the 1926 version of The Lodger, done by Alfred Hitchcock, one of his early films. I love this movie. It's good. It's sort of a mystery, suspense, typical Hitchcock kind of film, so highly recommend. Next one on my list, I haven't seen it for a while, but I had to mention it because it was the first silent film I ever saw, and that would be Greta Garbo's Flesh and the Devil. I watched it up at the Cottage with my grandmother, one of her friends, and my mother, and I found it in a bargain bin. I actually had it on VHS before I bought it on DVD, and I found it in a bargain bin, and I got it kind of as a joke, and it's like, oh yeah, this will be fun to watch. And we all sat there absolutely mesmerized. Like, wow. So I haven't seen it quite a while, but I just remember that absolute captivation with it, and I have watched it since then, and it's not my usual kind of film, but I really like it. Last on my list would be Mary Pickford's Pollyanna, the early Pollyanna, not the who was it, Haley Mills that did one of the remakes. I actually really like Pollyanna. I didn't expect to like Pollyanna when I first tried to watch it. I got to the title screen and thought, ooh, I don't like sappy films. I'm not a sappy story kind of person, but Pollyanna really isn't sappy. I've read the book as well, and I really like the book. It's surprisingly, I don't don't know if dark's the right word, but it certainly has things that aren't all sunshine and butterflies. It's not overly syrupy. It has a realism to it, and it's all about looking at the positive side of things, even when things aren't going too well. So that's a message I can get behind. Other films that I don't have on DVD that didn't... I've only seen them once, so I can't call them a favorite, just because I only call something a favorite if I've seen it multiple times. But that would be Ella Cinders. I saw that probably within the last year, and I really, really liked it. I also really like Coney Island, and I think it's called Goodnight Nurse. Those are Fatty Arbuckle shorts that have Buster Keaton in them. They stick in my mind as really great. And there is and I'm not going to remember the name of it. It's a Mabel Normand film. I have to mention Mabel Normand because I really do like her. There's a film she did about racing, like race cars. And if I can find the name of it, I'll put it here. I remember watching that. It's just a short one and thinking like, wow, that's really, I really liked it. It's an interesting kind of role reversal on the typical, somebody gets kidnapped kind of story, and it's really fun. So, again, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!